ఓం ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. ఓం శ్రీకృష్ణ పరబ్రహ్మణే నమః. ఓం శ్రీమాత్రే నమః. ప్రియాత్మ బంధువులారా, మనం పోయిన వారం చిత్తప్రజ్ఞ లక్షణాల గురించి చెప్పుకుందామని అనుకున్నాం. సో అది నేను ఇప్పుడు మొదలు పెడతా. లాస్ట్ వీక్ we were discussing about some questions, and then I said somebody has asked a question as to what is chittaprajñatvam. I said I will deal with that next week. So today I am going to talk about that. This is a very important topic in the Bhagavad Gita. So after Paramatma tells Arjuna about how he should do what he calls Nishkama Karma, then he talks about the fellow who does Nishkama Karma and that he will attain the ultimate goal with concentrated mind, steady mind, and he will be fully devoid of any doubts. So at that time, Arjuna gets a doubt as to how is Chittaprajña, what are his qualifications, how he speaks, how he behaves, and what are his other attitudinal dispositions. So first I will read the slokas of this important topic on Chittaprajñatvam, and then we will go into details. First, Arjuna asks, Arjuna Vavacha, Chittaprajñasya ka bhasha samadhistasya Keshava, Stitadhi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. This is sloka number 2-54, 32nd chapter, 54th sloka. Arjuna asks the question. Then God gives very exhaustive answer in about 18 slokas. I am going to first recite what God tells in all the 18 slokas, and then I will explain the slokas. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyev atmanatushta sthita prajnasta dochyate. Dukkeshu anudvignamana sukheshu vikataspruhaha vitaraga bhayakrodha sthitadir munirichyate. Yasarvatranabhisneha tatat prapya subhasubham नाभिनंदति न द्वेष्टि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. यथा संहरते चायं कुर्मोऽङ्गानीव सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्ज्यं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. यततोऽपि कौन्तेय पुरुषस्य विपश्चितः इंद्रियाणि प्रमादीनि हरन्ति प्रसभं मनः. तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त अतीतमत्परः वशे हि यस्येन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः संगस्तेषुपजायते संगात् संजायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति रागद्वेषवियुक्तैस्तु विषयानिन्द्रियैश्चरन् आत्मवश्यैर्विधेयात्मा प्रसादमधिगच्छति प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्यासु बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चाभावयतः शान्तिरशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम् इन्द्रियाणामिच्चरतां यन्मनोनुविधीयते तदस्य हरति प्रज्ञां वायुर्नावमिवाम्भति तस्माद्यस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता यानि च सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी यस्यां जागृतिभूतानि सानिशां पश्यतो मुने अपूर्यमाणमचलप्रतिष्ठं समुद्रमाप प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामाय प्रविशन्ति सर्वे सशान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी विहाय कामान्य सर्वान् पुमां चरति निःस्पृहः निर्ममो निरहङ्कार सशान्तिमधिगच्छति एषा ब्राह्मी तिथिपार्थ नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यति तित्वास्यामञ्चकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं मृच्छति. So this is the last sloka, 2-72, which God spoke about Sthita Prajna Lakshanas. So now I am going to explain what are these Sthita Prajna Lakshanas. Arjuna asked a question in 2-54. Then God gives his answer from 2-55 to 2-72. In this, first, he gives what are the qualities of Sthita Prajna Lakshanas in 2-55 to 2-58. And then he describes about Indriya Samyama Sadhana and what are the difficulties in attaining that Indriya Samyama Sadhana. That means how to control senses. That is given from 2-59 to 2-61. Then he talks about Samyama Tattva Vijnanam. Samyama Tattva Vijnanam. He talks in positive as well as negative ways. He talks from 2-62 to 2-68. And then he tells the state of Sthita Prajna. That means how he is. That he describes in 2-69 to 2-71. And then ultimately, or towards the end, he tells what is the, the ultimate status. By attaining Sthita Prajnatvam, what does the person get? That is the Falasruti. He talks in 2-72. So I am going to tell you now this. The first sloka, 2-54 and 55 of the God, it is Pradehati yada kaman sarvan pardha manogatan. That means a fellow who is having this Sthita Prajnatvam, he leaves all the desires. Desires means ambitions, whatever one has, both good as well as bad desires. It is not that you leave only bad desires and keep the good desires with you. No. Here, God says, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan. Sarvan means all desires, both good as well as bad desires. A fellow who leaves that, he is called Atmanyev Atmanatashta. He is satisfied within himself. His satisfaction does not depend on external factors. That means the atmosphere around him will not influence him. He is having full satisfaction within himself. He derives satisfaction from within. So he says, such a fellow who is not influenced by external factors for his, pleasure or displeasure, but who derives pleasure from within, is called Teta Prajna, or a fellow who gets that, he is called Teta Prajna. That means Teta Prajnatam, the phenomena of not being influenced by external factors, that is called Teta Prajnatam. So here we can give an example of, if you take a cloth, maybe generally ladies wear saris and men wear dhotis. So if you take either a sari or a dhoti, it has got two types of threads in this dhoti. One is the longitudinal fiber and another is the cross fiber. They are called warp and weft. So if you think that warp is representing your, desires that are conducive for human satisfaction, and weft is describing desires that are not conducive for human satisfaction. But if you want to keep the desires that give you satisfaction and leave the desires that do not give you satisfaction, that means if you are leaving the warp fibers, they will all go, only weft will remain. But if you remove weft also, that is cross fibers also, then what happens? The cloth itself disappears. That means he is comparing the removal of warp and weft from a dhoti to the situation in which a Stita Prajna will be there. That means if you remove your good desires as well as bad desires, just as the cloth is disappearing, the person also will be completely devoid of external factors and he will be deriving his satisfaction from within himself. That is what it means. Atmanyev atmanatashta tita prajnas tadochyate. So one should remove both good desires as well as bad desires. Then he is called tita prajna. And second quality he is describing in 2-56. Dukkeshu anudvignamana sukheshu vikataspruhaha vitaraga bhayakrodha titadir munurichyate. That means he should not be influenced by agony or ecstasy. pain or pleasure. Dukkhe svanudvignamana. He should not get upset by experiencing bad events, bad experiences. And at the same time, he should not go into ecstasy by when he is exposed to, pleasures. Sukheshu vikataspraha. He should not become so much involved in enjoying the pleasures. Neither he is influenced by pain, nor he is influenced by pleasure. And he is also not influenced by ragam. Ragam means the quality of having desire. Bhayam. Bhayam means fear. Krodham means anger. So he should be devoid of ragam, bhayam and krodham. That means he should be free from fear. He should be free from desire. He should be free from fear. And he should be free from anger. Such a fellow is called Tita Prajna. So you should not be influenced by pleasure or pain, agony or ecstasy, anger, fear, and desire. Such a fellow is called Tita Prajna. And next quality he is describing in 2-57. Yasarvatra nabhisneha tatat prapta subha subham. Nabhinandati nadveshti tasya prajna pratishtita. That means a person who is always, he is not influenced by subham or asubham, whether good happens or bad happens. He is unmoved. And he is also not moved by nabhinandati nadveshti, by somebody who is praising him or somebody who is showing animosity. He is unmoved. Yasarvatra nabhisneha tatat prapya subha subham nabhinandati nadveshti. Tasya prajna pratishtita. Such a fellow is called Tata Prajna. And now in the next sloka, he is giving an example, that is 2-58. Yada samharate chayam kurmangani va sarvashaha indriyardebhya tasya prajna pratishtita. That means a tortoise. He is giving the example of a tortoise. Tortoise, what does it do? When it is experiencing any situation of a dangerous situation, then it withdraws all its limbs inside. Like that, a Tata Prajna, when he is being exposed to adverse circumstances which are not conducive for his Tata Prajna status, he will withdraw himself from them. That means he is unmoved. He is not what you call influenced by these factors. So such a fellow is called Tita Prajna. So these are the qualities of a Tita Prajna. And then now he is describing from 2-59 to 2-68 how to control senses. Why one should control senses? What is the relation between controlling the senses and Sthita Prajnatvam. So he tells first Samyama Vijnanam. Samyama Vijnanam in three slokas, that is 2-59 to 2-61. So when a person is attacked by the so-called senses, senses means the sensual pleasures which we derive, Shabda, Sparsha, Ropa, Rasa, Gandhas. That means we hear, we feel, we see, we taste, and we smell. These are the senses we have. When we are being influenced, how to control them? These senses, sensual control. So if you sense that your indriyas or senses are, getting involved in their usual activities, then you will lose your Sthita Prajnatvam. So that is why you should not get involved in these, you should not surrender yourself to the sensual pleasures. Instead, he should keep his senses under his control. That is, if you have a horse, if you are being ridden by a horse, if it is left to itself, what it will do? It will go astray. It will go here and there as it desires. But if you harness the horse, then it will listen to what you say. So our senses, that is the senses of a human being, are, if they are controlled, it will behave like a harnessed horse. If they are not controlled, it will behave like a unharnessed horse. Unharnessed horse will go as it likes, whereas a harnessed horse will go in the direction in which the rider wants. So for this to happen, you must simultaneously undertake 3 exercises: Vasanakshayam, Manonasham, and Tattvajnanam. That means you must cut off the supply of the food that is fed to indriyas. That means Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandhas. You should cut them off. And then you should pray to God. That means you should concentrate only on God. Then the senses, they cannot assume what you call leadership. They will surrender. They will surrender to you. Because in front of God, they cannot do as they like. So when you concentrate on God, your senses will automatically get subdued and they will behave as you say. So a fellow who is having sensual control will be able to attain Sthita Prajnatvam. And when you are in a situation, a dangerous situation where senses are not being brought under your control or the sadhaka's control, what he should do? Suppose a thief comes to our house, he is robbing us, we are helpless. Then what we do? We inform the police. Police people will come and take control of the thief. Similarly, when you are not able to control your senses yourself, you must surrender to God. That is what is meant by param drashtva. When you surrender yourself to God, He will take care of you. He will take care of the senses, He will control the senses, and He will put you on the right track. So, these are the important steps in Indriya Samyama Vijnanam. And when you are finding that you are almost failing, then you must surrender to God. God will take care of that. That is what is meant by Matparatvam. So then, in the next 7 slokas, that is 2-62 to 2-68, he is describing how you attain that Samyama Tattva Jnanam. He is starting with 2-62. In 2-62 and 2-63, he says how a desire arises in a human being and what are its effects. And then what happens? Consequences. So that he describes, Jhayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangaste Shopajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Bhijayate. That means a person who is constantly thinking of anything, a substance or an event, he develops what is known as attachment to that event or to that substance. That is Jhayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangaste Shopajayate. Sangam means attachment. He will get attachment. By virtue of getting that attachment, that means he will get attached to that item or article or that event. He wants to possess that. He develops desire to possess that. That is Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. Kamaha means desire. He will, by virtue of that attachment, he develops a deep desire to possess it. Now, what happens? If that desire is fulfilled, it is okay. But if that desire is not fulfilled, then he becomes angry. That is what he says, Kamat Krodho Bhijayate. When his desire is being denied, he becomes very angry. And what are the consequences of that angriness that he is describing in the next sloka, 2-63? Krodhat bhavati sammohaha. That means, by virtue of this anger, he will lose control on himself. That means, the discretionary power, which otherwise is available to the human being, and he is not angry or an angryless person, once he becomes angry, he loses that discriminating power to distinguish between good and bad. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammoha smriti vibhramaha. Once he loses that discretionary power, he will not be able to take right decision. That means he will lose control of mind. And his intellect will not work the way it should work. Smriti Bhramchat Buddhina, so intellect will fail in taking the correct decision. And then what happens? Buddhina Chat Pranachati. He will meet with his end. So, a desire, a person who is constantly thinking of an item or an article or an event, he will develop attachment. That attachment leads to a strong desire to possess it, and any abstraction that is caused for possessing that item will lead to anger, and that anger will make him lose his balance of mind. Because of the loss of balance of mind, he will not be able to distinguish between good and bad. So when he loses that balance of mind, of being able to distinguish between good and bad, he loses control of his intellect. And when he loses control of the intellect, he will go astray. He will meet with his end. That is what it means. Now, the same thing he is describing in the next two slokas. Ragadvesha viktaisthu vishayan indriyaischcharan atmavasyair vidheyatma prasadamadi प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्यासु बुद्धिपर्यवतिष्ठति. That means a person who is losing his balance of mind, we said, he will lose his balance of mind. That means that stability of mind he loses. When he loses stability of mind, what happens? How can he control his mind once he loses stability? So he will not be able to control his mind. When he is not able to control his mind, how he can get, the Atmajnanam? So when he is not getting Atmajnanam, how he can get relief from this worldly atmosphere? And when he is not getting relieved from the worldly atmosphere, he will not derive any pleasure. That means either in the place where he is living, or in a place he is roaming, or in this world, or in the world, wherever he goes, he will not get pleasure or peace of mind. So when senses are pulling you from one desire to another desire, or one place to another place, or one item to another item, it is like a boat which is getting rocked with the wind. When wind is it will go in the direction of the wind. When wind is, current of the wind, in whatever direction it is there, an uncontrolled mind will go astray, just as a boat which is not having control, but it is being driven by the wind. In whatever direction the wind comes, it will go in that direction. So the person loses his balance. So that is why you should always have control on your desires, and when you are not able to control, you should seek the help of the God so that your senses get controlled. So, नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चाभाव यतस्यान्तिरशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम् इन्द्रियाणां विचरतां यन्मनो न विधीयते तदस्य हर्षि प्रज्ञां वायुर्नावमिवाम्भसि. That is what we described, a boat getting rocked by wind. Just as the wind, rocks the boat in the direction of the wind, the fellow also, when he is not having a controlled mind, he will go astray. Tasmadhyasya mahabaho nigrihitani sarvasah indriyani indriyardebhyah tasya prajna pratishtita. That is why you must have full control of your mind, then only you will get what you call Tita Prajnatvam. Otherwise, you will not get. So, he says, by following what route one attains Tita Prajnatvam. He describes in the last 4 slokas. Of course, in the last sloka, he gives the ultimate end result. But the first 3 slokas, he tells about the consequences. Yanisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagatti samyami yasyam jagriti bhutani sanisha pasyeto mune. Actually, the Chitta Prajna will have a contrary position compared to ordinary people. Ordinary people, what they do? They are awake during daytime and they are asleep during night time. But a Chitta Prajna is awake during night time and he is sleeping in the daytime. That means he is unmoved by what happens in this world during daytime. And in the night time, he is always concentrating on the God. Yanicha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagati samyami yasyam jagriti bhutani sanisham pasyato mune. So that is, he has given that example. And then he says in the next sloka, apuryamana machala pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti nakama kami. He is comparing the stature of a Sthita Prajna or a person having Sthita Prajnatvam. He is comparing to sea. What happens in the sea? We have seen in life, many of you, lakes breach, tanks breach, canals breach, rivers breach. But have you seen sea breaching? It will never happen. Sea never breaches. In the summer, because of, sun when he is developing so much high temperature, the water in the sea gets evaporated to a large extent. But it does not completely dry it. And similarly, during the rainy season, when rains are there, rains bring all the water that is being poured because of rains throughout the land. It will come through rivulets, rivers, etc. And ultimately it joins the sea. But in spite of so many rivers bringing so much of rainwater into the sea, the seashore doesn't breach. You see, the sea does not become dry during the summer, nor it breaches during the rainy season. Like that, a Stita Prajna will be unmoved by what happens in his life because he is unattached. He is free from desires. He is free from what you call all these bad qualities. We have already told Ragadvesha Vishayan Indreyacharan. Sensual pleasures is not being affected. He is not being affected by Ragam, Dvesham, Bhayam, Krodham, etc., etc. So he is unmoved, and he has thus compared his Stita Prajna to the sea. He is like a sea. And then he tells, Vihaya Kamanya Sarvan Pumam Charati Nispruhaha Nirmamo Nirahankara Sashanti Madhigachati. When he is devoid of desires, Vihaya Kamanya Sarvan Pumam Charati Nispruha, he is unmoved, unattached. Nirmamo Nirahankara, he is not having any ego. He is not having any attachment. So he attains peace, tranquility. So that is what is meant by Stita Prajnatnam. Just like a sea, he has compared with sea, and then he attains tranquility, devoid of desires, devoid of attachment, devoid of ego. He attains peace. And in the last sloka, he is telling about the Falasruti. Yesha Brahmi Stiti Pardha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati Titvasya Mantakalepi Brahma Nirvanam Ruchati. A fellow who attains this Stita Prajnatvam or the stature of being a Stita Prajna, once it comes, it will not go. It will remain till the last, till he breathes his last. Yesha Brahmi Stiti Pardha Nainam Prapya Vimutistvasyam Antyakalepi. Antyakalepi means last moments of his life. Till he breathes his last, that stature will remain with him. It will not go anywhere. See, in the ordinary life, if you look at Stita Prajna, he may look like an ordinary fellow for you, but nothing affects him. Nothing affects him. Nothing influences him. He is not grieved. When, dear ones depart, or when something, unexpected events happen, bringing pleasure to him, he is unmoved. So that is the Stita Prajnatvam. So that is what is meant by a person having Stita Prajna or Stita Prajnatvam. I don't know. Because I am not good at English, I might not have been able to tell you in a very effective way, but I have given this in my own mother tongue. I have made two separate, what they call, discourses. Those of you who know the Telugu language, they can listen to that. But a Sthita Prajna is the person what God likes. See, there are 5 characteristics which God likes. And one of them is this one, Sthita Prajnatvam. God likes Sthita Prajna, God likes Jnani, God likes Bhakta, a devotee, God likes Gunatita. Gunatita means who is not influenced by gunas, that is Sattvagunam, Rajogunam, Tamogunam, etc. And Vijnani. So, a true devotee should try to attain all these qualities. First, he should become a bhakta, then he should become a jnani, then he should become, automatically he will become Sthita Prajna also, and he will also become Gunatita once he crosses the ocean of samsara. So, these things he describes at various places in various chapters, but one should try to understand the importance of these things and stitch them like a garland. That is what is needed in Bhagavad Gita, because God has not given everything in one place. He has given at different places. So that is what is meant by Sthita Prajna. So, my dear friends, I think this is what I wanted to tell you on Sthita Prajna. If anybody is having any doubt, they can ask.
చాలా చాలా బాగుందండి. ఐ మీన్ ఇట్స్ వెరీ గుడ్. యా యా ఐ థింక్ ఇప్పుడు నేను ఈ 18 శ్లోక సంయమనం చేయాలండి. వీటిని బాగా మననం చేయాలి. ధ్యానం చేసేటప్పుడు బాగా ఉపయోగపడతాయని అర్థమైంది. ఈ రోజు నాకే చెప్పినట్టుగా అనిపించింది.
You see, nothing comes overnight. Nothing comes overnight. You must constantly be at it. Then it will come. See, I always say that God has told, Munaya sarve parambhuya pravakshami jnananam jnanamuttamam yajnatva munaya sarve param siddhimito, all without exception. When he has given to all without exceptions, sarvan, he used that word, Manaya Sarve, all without exception. Why he will make exception in case of us? He will not make, no? So, you must try to go closer to him. And for that, he already told, first you become my bhakta. And he says, see, many people, they don't catch it. That is the unfortunate thing. What he told, Manmana bhava, madbhakto bhava, madhyaji bhava, mam namaskuru, mame vaishyasi yukta iva matmanam matparayanaha. Having told that in 9-34, again in 18-65, he repeats that. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyante pratijane priyosime. I am promising on God. He says, Satyantya, what I am telling is truth, 100% truth. Pratijane means I am promising. We say God promise, mother promise, father promise, no? That is, he can't promise on himself because that is why he said Pratijane. Why is he is promising? Priyosime, I like you, Arjuna. When he likes, when you become a devotee, isn't it? So, become a devotee, pray God. He must be on your tongue all the 24 hours. I mean, all the hours you are awake. During night time, you will not remember. But during waking hours, you must constantly, you do whatever you want. You are drinking, you are walking, you are singing, you are doing your work, whatever you might do, but your, we call in Mantropadesham, Sadajapam. Sadajapam must be Sada. Sada means always, isn't it? The
Yes,
meaning of
yes.
Sada is always, always without exception. Whether it is pleasure or pain, you may be having some difficulties in life. Not that everybody is having only pleasure. There are difficulties, but all the time you must have that. So once you do that, God likes you. As you know, somebody, he is asked actually, what? God doesn't appear. God doesn't listen. God doesn't eat. God doesn't sleep. All these things. You know for what reply he gave? Hmm? Why are you not calling me like Mirabai? Why are you not feeding me like Shabari? If you feed like Shabari, I will eat. If you call like Mirabai, I will come. If you entreat me like Yashoda, I will sleep. If you dance like Gopikas, I will dance with you. So all your bhavanas are not correct. So you should take examples from them. God himself has quoted their names. You call me like Mirabai, I will come. You feed me like Sabri, I will eat. You know, what we call, when we are trying to make the child sleep, we sing some songs, isn't it?
Correct.
So like that, you do like Yashoda, I will sleep. And I will dance also when you behave like Gopikas. So like that, these things we must learn from them. What for are they worth? Why are they standing in
Correct.
literature as examples? So
Yes.
we must derive the qualities of those devotees, and then you will also get God's grace. So I think with this, I will stop here. I will recite the sloka. Om यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं च यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव परमेश नमोऽस्तु ते हरिः ओम् तत्सत्